Hello, everyone. This is Chad Owen, the Annuity Sales Coach, owner of Retirement Realized Financial and Retirement Realized Agents Academy. Welcome to this week's, holy cow, where's everything going? This week's podcast. I'm telling you, I love doing these podcasts, especially this new format, but sometimes finding the time, and yes, I'm wearing the same shirt because we're grouping these together. It's okay. Just pretend this is now elk antlers, not deer antlers. Okay, it's the same thing. But I'm trying to make sure we have a consistent pattern and kind of that they flow a little better. Because one of the things that's hard is when you're an agent and you have trainers bouncing all over the place. Now I'm doing a podcast as a broad topic. And then of course, you know, in our academy, we dig deep in this. I mean, we have hours and hours and hours of training where literally we have roadmaps. This roadmap is about fact finding. This roadmap is about phone calls. And we dig deep into this. We have individual courses. We have all my handouts that you go over that you can use during your appointments. We have our marketing organization where we're different. As you can see, we don't have a green screen behind us. I don't have my fancy little suit on. As if you know me, I have a no tie policy unless someone's dead or someone's getting married. That's all it comes down to.
I just don't. That means I don't have to wear a tie to work.
My wife does every once in a while. She asks me to dress up, and I'll do that for her. But that's it. But the reality is we want to be as real as we can. As you know, I'm in a field just like you, an agent just like you, running appointments just like you. I run into the same objections. I run into the same issues. I run into the same problems. You know, it's just a part of business. And this is why, and I mean this with the utmost honor, but it's hard for someone that sits behind a desk to do training when they're not in the field just like you. Now, I am not slamming marketers at all. There's a lot that really put their heart, their energy, and their effort into it. They really want what's best for their agents. But you know what? I can't do what they do. There's some things that they do that I'm just not qualified or have the patience and endurance that they have. I mean, I know marketers that consistently, the entire day, they're on the phone, sitting at a desk, and some of them don't take lunches. Why? Because you got that agent that's in a crisis situation, needs an illustration right away. So, I mean, I respect and admire the marketers, but you know what? I do this every single week, Tuesday through Thursday. I run appointments. I make calls on Monday. I mean, I do my own pending business. It's just, this is what I do. Yeah. And so I love helping you. I know that's a long intro, but the reality is I just want you to know I'm no different than y'all. I mean, oh man, I just spoke Texanese. I'm no different than y'all right there. No. But I'm the same. I deal with the same issues. So that's why I'm here to help you.
I love it.
What do you got going?
Yeah, so I want to talk about, you probably have to think back to when you were first kind of starting in the industry and think back to you weren't buying the leads that you are now. You had to work with other things. What were some things that you were able to do back then that maybe agents can implement now? It can help them when they don't have what it takes to buy new leads.
Yeah, you know what? I was just actually talking to an agent earlier, and I gave up when I was in life insurance, I gave up a big percentage of my commission to get leads. And the crazy thing is they had the A leads. The A leads were anything newer than 6 months. Then you had the B leads that were 6 months to 2 years. And then you had the C leads that were 2 years or more. And man, I used to scoop up those B and C leads. They didn't cost me anything. And I didn't care, man. To me, I knew I was good at what I did. I was an expert at what I did. I knew that I called. I mean, some people said they called these leads many times. I found leads that were 2 years old that had 2 notes on them. So don't tell me you called. You just went through it once, which a lot of agents still to this day do. They'll call 1 or 2 times, go, well, that lead's no good. I still now call for a whole month. And if I start to run low on leads, I'll go to 2 months. If I run low on leads again, I'll go to 3 months. I mean, I don't care. And now I will stop if somebody says, hey, I don't want help. Fine. That's no big deal. Move on to the next one. But as far as finding leads, it's really, you know, I'm also not one of those people. I'm heavily involved in church. The church is not my place to market what I do. You know, I saw someone one time wear their name tag in church. And I went up to that person, are you confused to who you are? And like, what do you mean? I go, why are you wearing your name tag to what you do? And they go, well, I was hoping to drum up some business. So you saw what Jesus did to the tables? Turn it into the marketplace? I'm about to overturn you, bud. Get that off. And they took it off respectfully, so I didn't have to overturn anything.
Well, that's good.
But anyway, that's not your lead source. And your friends and family are by no means a lead source if you don't know what you're doing. Don't practice someone's 20 years of retirement on your friends.
Sure.
There's an organization out there that will call all your friends and family, ask them if you can practice on them. What? And then they get sales from that. I'm going, you don't even know what you're talking about.
There's a big difference between practicing when it's legitimate practice and
selling.
practicing selling and you're legitimately trying to get a deal.
Correct,
That's
correct.
There's a big
Yeah,
difference.
these annuities do 500% over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
What? Like,
If only. That'd be all right.
Dude, I've heard some crazy things. Yeah, these annuities have done 15% over the past 10 years.
Yep.
What annuity is that? Sign me up. But no, leads are literally something that you really do have to put money into. You know, I hear agent after agent after agent call, what's the cost of your leads? And they don't say, what's your investment in leads? Leads are not a cost to me, they're an investment.
Yeah.
You know, if the only thing I get to do is talk to a client and not necessarily help them, but I get to invest in them and help them in a question they might have, then I'm willing to do that. Absolutely.
That's good.
But you know what? Stop calling leads a cost. They're an investment, because just right away, you're already saying this costs me something.
Sure.
Instead of saying, what does it cost me to talk? No, let me use a better example. What does it cost me to talk to my wife? Nothing. I get to invest in her. I do get to invest in you, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's okay, yeah. But you see what I'm saying, though? Your language of calling a cost versus an investment, if it costs you something, it's almost like, it rips something out of me. No, I get to invest in my business.
It's really good. That's really good. And it goes back to mindset, and we talk about mindset all the time. And you know, having that success mindset, and you know, you just believing you're going to get it done, but also taking that approach to even the lead, somebody you've never talked to yet, but you've got that because you decided to invest into it. And so that is important. Chad, I've heard you say before, you would basically do whatever you needed to do that was obviously within legal bounds to get things in if things were to slow down. I mean, if your lead companies were to tomorrow disappear into thin air and you had to figure out a way to generate leads, I mean, you've got to figure out something. So I imagine there's some things you would do in that. One of the things that came to mind for me is you talk about calling BNC leads. Well, what if an agent doesn't have access to a marketing organization that's got BNC leads just kind of sitting on the side? Could they reach out to another agent?
Here's the thing, I get confused. Okay, I'm going to go open up a tire shop. What money do you have to invest? Nothing. How are you going to get the tires? I don't know. I don't have the money. You're not going to start a tire shop.
That's true.
You know, when you get into this business, and I don't mean this to be a slam or anything, it's a tough business to get in and be successful in, but you need to start with capital. Now, what was my capital initially? $150,000 on the credit card. But how many times do people take out small business loans to start a business? That's what I did. I took out a small business loan, and then I played the 0% interest game, moving it around for, holy cow, years. And then finally, once I topped out of that, and then I just really got good at this, had a couple of big deals and wiped everything out. But you know what? I was willing to do that. I was willing to cut way back on things to afford leads. Agents tell me they can't afford leads while they're sipping on their $8 cup of coffee. You know, I mean, it's like I said, it sounds harsh, but it's a reality. You know what? The best mentors in my life have been the ones that have been direct, not the ones that sugarcoat things, say things I want to hear. And you know what? If you step on my toes, but I can feel the hug, I'm going to take that all day long.
Yeah.
You know, and I just have to be direct with people. You cannot start companies without being willing to have either some sort of capital or the ability to borrow something. No business starts with nothing. I can't say no. It's incredibly rare.
Sure.
You know, even the people that worked out of their garage, you know, I've heard some of these stories where they're literally eating ramen noodles for a year and virtually no expenses. Why? Because they're pouring everything back into their business.
Right.
So we just need to understand that if you want to be successful in this, there's going to be a cost. It will. I talked about cost versus investment. No, this is where I'm talking. It will cost you something. You know, nothing is free. Now, I'm all for blessings. I'm all for favor. I'm all for things we get that we don't deserve. I totally get that. But there's got to be a cost where you feel it and you feel the pain and you feel the hurt and you're going, man, this is tough. But when that happens, the reward is so much greater.
Sure. Yeah, that's true, because there's more of you tied up into it. You've got more at stake with it. And so when it takes off, you're really, I mean, it's just, it hits your heart in a different way.
I think it's funny. It's kind of like, you know, you hear people driving rental cars. Well, it's just a rental. I don't care, you know, I'll slam on the brakes, I'll accelerate. It's just a rental. No, that's someone else's livelihood.
It's true.
You know, that's someone else's livelihood. So if you treat it just like a rental, that causes my insurance rates to go up. How much? Because you end up wrecking it, or now I'm going to rent a car and it costs more. Why? Because you're a dodo and you just thought it would be okay to do that. I mean, I even think of things like, you know, it's stewardship. It's what do we do with what we're given? Someone in a hotel room and there's like jumping all over the beds and they're making a whole bunch of noise. And I'm going, oh, it's a hotel room. No, what about the poor guy below you that's trying to sleep, that's doing a business appointment or something, and he's trying to get some sleep, but you're letting your kids jump all over the bed. You know, I mean, it's like, God, you know, we have to think of what our actions do that affects other people. And so we need to look at when it comes to leads, when it comes to how we help and how we treat leads, what we're willing to do to get leads. Everything we do has a consequence. You decide if it's good or bad. But everything we do in life has a consequence. So when we want leads, but we don't have enough money, then we need to cut back on something. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know, or buy, you know, I mean, some of my leads cost $350 a piece right now. Sometimes I get the same client hitting all 4 of my lead sources. That just cost me over $1,200 for that one lead. But if I didn't have that, then I'd be sitting there going, okay, well, then I need to buy a lot less leads or a lot lower price leads. There are some annuity leads out there. I don't know the most recent ones, but there's some that cost $20, $25 a piece. But you're sharing that with 10 or 15 other agents. So that means you need to be the one that literally, you know, as soon as they come in, you need to be the one to call.
Sure.
Or if you're not the first one to call, you need to be the one that sounds better than everybody else and knows what you're talking about.
It's true.
So you gotta, I mean, if you don't have money for leads, borrow. If you know this is what you want to do. Because it's just like small business loans are very common.
That's true.
So sometimes it takes that.
That's true. That's good. And let's talk about working old leads in general. I mean,
what's an old lead? I mean, once again, I have old leads. Oh, good. You're not selling them because you think they're old leads. I didn't look at the B and the C leads as old leads. You know, those were a lead. It was a brand new lead to me. Have I seen that person before? No. Have I met them before? So is it an old lead to me? So if you think it's an old lead, guess what? It's an old lead. You're not closing it. Why? So, it's a mindset from the very beginning.
That's good. That's good. So your approach to old lead
B and C leads
is the same as if it was brand new.
It is brand new. I mean, what would happen if I treated my wife that way? Sorry, you're an old lead, babe. We've been married for 20 years. Not fresh anymore. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that'd be not good. I know your wife. That wouldn't go over well.
Good at all. Every day. This is just a message of life because, once again, I'm telling you, I know we're talking about annuities, but the mind says everything. If you go through life going the same monotonous thing over and over and over again, I do the same dumb old thing every single day, you're not going to be a happy person. But if you go, man, you know what? I've never been here before. Why? I've never been here before. Why? Because I've never been this old before. Why? Because the clock is always ticking. Yep. Okay? And one of these days we're not going to wake up. So it's okay. I'm fine with that. Yeah. You can't threaten me with heaven. I'm good to go. So
well, that's a good mindset though to have going into that. Obviously, I mean, and it's so funny how it seems like everything we talk about in some way, shape, or form loops right back to mindset.
It is.
But it seems like it is often the weak point in an agent's process.
Yeah. I mean, I think about even what we're going through right now with the pandemic and all the political junk and all that. I mean, people go and hide in their little caves and they don't want to get out. And I'm not saying, if you have health issues and you got to protect yourself and isolate, I get that. But the reality is there's still people out there walking around with smiles without their mask. You know, it's like they're able to enjoy life no matter what's going on. So if you have a lead that's 2 years old or you have a lead that's brand new, has that person been helped yet? No. Do you still have an opportunity to help them? Yes. So is that fresh? Absolutely. It's all about the mindset. But man, if you're not willing to spend money in leads, if you're not willing to work old leads, if you're not willing to make the sacrifices, this is going to be a really tough business for you to be into. And like I said, I was in debt 7 times. Why? I mean, because when we'd get out of debt, I'd celebrate by taking us out to dinner on a credit card. So
Yeah.
just didn't figure out the routine. Took 7 times, but
You
then
figured it out now?
yeah, oh yeah, no, we are so far out of debt. It's not even funny, but it's because we also, even though we have money now, we still we're very deliberate in where we spend it. So I always have a surplus budget for leads. I always make sure I have multiple lead sources, and that's what I'd recommend for you. So I hope you guys have a great day, and as always, happy selling.